Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Decker and today we are doing yet another live stream, and once again I am joined by Dan, aka Love Sausage, on this particular stream. He of course joined me earlier last week to talk about The Walking Dead, and he's back to talk about The Boys. And making his triumphant return to the channel, we have Homelander's Milk himself, Mule Kick Media, aka Dan McCance, common appearer on my other channel, as well as Love Sausage, and also appeared in our Boys Season 1 spoiler discussion that we did last year. So I thought it was about time he came back. I thought this was the appropriate time.
Yeah.
So welcome, boys. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me today. So The Boys Season 2, this is a season that we've been looking forward to quite a lot. We were all huge fans of the first season. It's been quite a long wait as well, even though they did get this season out pretty quick. So now we have it. It's finished. All eight episodes have wrapped up. I guess what we should start off with is just our general feelings on the season. I want to hand it over to our special guest who hasn't been here for a while, Homelander's Milk, Dan Host. Because I haven't really spoken to you about it much.
No, I mean, I was just looking forward to this like mad, like especially like given what's happened over lockdown and just like most films that I've just been looking forward to this year just gone like that. Like this was like the one thing where I was just like, okay, just we're gonna get it this year. Just please be good, and just loved it. Like I loved season 1, but I honestly think season 2 might be even better. Like it was genuinely blew me away. Like
yeah,
and the thing was that. Initially, when they mentioned about the fact that they were going to change the release schedule, not release them all at once, like via Netflix, and do it like first 3 episodes, then week by week. Initially, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but I think the way that the season played out actually worked to its benefit, because I actually felt like I kind of digested the episodes way better than I did for season 1, where it was just like a mad rush to get through all of them. But no, I think the story for the season was really good. I like all the characters they brought in. I like what they did as well with the characters from season 1, like Frenchie and Kimiko, that we had in season 1, but they weren't as prevalent. You got a lot more of them in season 2. The action was really good. The comedy was on point. Just The Boys, mate, was awesome. Yeah, really enjoyed season 2.
Yeah, and Love Sausage.
You
set yourself up for this. I'm just going to keep saying it.
I know. Yeah, no, do it. Good. I'm glad that you are. Yeah, phenomenal show. Is just amazing. Already can't wait for season 3. And just to add to what Homelander's Milk said about the weekly episodes, usually I would have loved to just binge watch this whole season in like literally a day. But obviously with lockdown, it was perfect in that it was weekly. I actually felt like what you said. Yeah, you just digest each episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just so much better. And just with the fact that there's not actually a lot to do nowadays, you still go. It was out every Friday, was it?
Yeah,
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like Friday was like a good day because you'd be like, well, it's The Boys, and you watch that and kind of like start your day off good and whatnot. So yeah, I actually preferred that, and I'll probably, if they do season 3 like that, I'm not going to complain. Yeah. And bring back Love Sausage. Eric Kripke, if you're watching, more Love Sausage.
Yes, so we need the best character, the standout character of the season.
Damn right. Spin-off. Love Sausage, the spin-off.
I'd watch that. But I'm glad you brought up the weekly release schedule, because that was something that I was going to bring up. It's kind of the first note I have here. But my general thoughts on the season is I thought it was just fantastic. Just I don't know which season I prefer yet, to be honest. I'm still sort of throwing it back and forth in my head. I think they're pretty equal. I think they're so close. But in terms of the weekly release schedule, like I've said this many times before, I'm not the best at binging. So even though saying that, I did completely binge the first season of The Boys because I was hooked by that so much. But I don't mind the weekly release schedule. I think that it really helps to generate interest in the show. I think it causes a lot more conversation on the show. And each week you're kind of, marinating on the episodes a bit more. And as Hoss was saying, it allows you to kind of just take them in a little bit more. And then it just gets you more and more hyped for the next episode. So by the time it arrives, there's that build up. And I just think it works a bit better. And it was interesting they released the first 3 episodes as well. Like that's the way that Apple TV Plus released their shows. And I think it works really well for them. I thought it was interesting they did it with The Boys, though, because usually that would work well with a first season because you can do 3 episodes to see how you feel about it and then carry on. Whereas this was a second season, which I thought was a bit bizarre. But either way, I think the weekly release schedule works. So, as you said, Dan, if it does stick in season 3, I would be more than happy with that.
Yeah.
But I think let's just dive in and talk about all these different elements, because there is a lot of spoilers in this season. There's a lot of stuff that was revealed. There's a lot of stuff that was shown. And I guess the first sort of thing we could talk about is Carl Urban as Billy Butcher, who once again just knocks it out of the park performance-wise as Billy Butcher. He's incredible in this. Just watching him go to the next level. And what was great about Butcher this season was that he was actually given a lot more of a personal storyline and a story that really gave a lot more humanity to his character, as opposed to what we've seen before. We had Dan's favorite, Chantel, come into the show properly this time as Becca Butcher, and we got to see her have a lot more of a screen time as well. So what do you guys think of that?
I'll let you go first, Homelander's Milk, seeing as you're the return.
Yeah, sure. I really like what they did with Billy this season, because I think one of the few criticisms people could try and level against season 1 was oh, Billy was only became this person just because he thought his wife was dead. And I remember one of my mates who watched the show and he said it doesn't really feel like enough of a viable reason as to why he's the character he is. But what I really like with season 2 is that they really explored more of his family and his backstory. So you find out about his brother, learning what happened to him. You find out, how his dad was just a completely abusive dickhead and his mum just completely stood by it. And I just love how they really kind of did a good job of building up the seeds as to the person that he is today and where he came from. But then also giving him this storyline of him trying to, overcome his viewpoints on soups, because from day one, he's just been anti-soup. If you soup, you're no good. But then because of obviously with Becca and Ryan, it completely throws a spanner in the works. And I just love the way that they set up that storyline of him having to learn to accept him. And then, like I say, when he gets to that final episode and it comes full circle when, he could have easily just killed Ryan. There's that scene was he's grabbing the crowbar. You think he's going to do it. And then he moves on past that. It was just such a really good story arc for him this season. And, I didn't know if they could top his story from the first season, because I really came to really like Butcher as a character, even though he is pretty diabolical in what he does. But I think season 2, they nailed it with him. They just really did a good job of fleshing him out as a character.
Yeah, I mean, when he picked up that crowbar, I genuinely thought he was going to whack his head off. I kind of thought I wouldn't put it past this show.
He was going to go full on of mice of men and just tell him to look at the flowers.
Yeah, I literally thought it was going to be the first episode of the season where Homelander just full on yeets Ryan off that roof. I was I was full on expecting Butcher to just whack his head off. Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, this is the man that we did think for over a year had just blown up a house with a baby inside. So
yeah.
Although apparently he didn't kill the baby. The baby was fine, which I was a bit disappointed about, but oh well.
I suppose there is only so far that the boys can actually go.
actual full-on full frontal child murder may not be within Amazon's restrictions.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, season 2 was just so much crazy as season 1. And the same, I can't pick which season was or is better or is the best, because there's just so many crazy elements in both seasons, laser baby in the first season, and then
love sausage,
full on going through a whale with a boat. What the fuck? You can think of crazy things, and the boys will just be nah, that's not crazy enough, and just go another level. And yeah, it's so good. But yeah, like Dan said, Billy Butcher this season has really just become such a good character, another level. And obviously, yeah, we had Chantel back properly this season. Becca Butcher, rest in peace. Spoiler alert: Becca Butcher died. Sorry. Yeah, if you're watching this and you didn't know it was a spoiler, then
I mean, to be fair, if you're watching this, if you're watching a review for season 2 of a show, I would trust that you have actually watched the full show. There's no excuses for this one.
I would also trust as well you've actually read the title of this live stream before you clicked on it. So you haven't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was sad that Becca died, but I think the storyline around it was so good in this sort of thing that she doesn't want Ryan to be like Homelander, and eventually Billy does agree and is yeah, he has a chance. He's only a kid, he can change type thing. But yeah, such a good season.
And I think it made sense for Becca to die here because it would have been difficult, I think, to keep her on the show given the fact that Butcher is such an integral character. I think with him sort of being put in a position of, he can either remain on the show and just sort of pine after Becca still, or Becca would somehow leave the show, i.e. dying, and then Butcher could just carry on doing what he's doing. So I think it was kind of integral for her to be killed off at this point. It was sad because we all love Chantel, but I guess it was her time to go, and I think it made sense in the story. So, I think it works really well. And again, I think Butcher's arc, going from this incredibly cold character who just hates suits under any circumstance to sort of grow to learn that they can change, and some of them were just, they didn't mean to come out that way. They just, a lot of them were experimented on or just given this treatment when they were a young age. Or in the case of Ryan, is the first naturally born soup. There's different ways around that. And he starts to realize that, he also can change thanks to just his own realizations. I thought that was really good, especially, the scenes in episode 7 with his father, with excellent casting with John Noble playing his dad. Yeah. I thought they were really good. And I think it just really, again, it added so much more depth to Butcher than what we'd seen in season 1. And it just made him a lot more well-rounded of a character. So I think he had a great, fantastic arc in this season. And I guess the next character we could talk about is our boy Anthony Starr as Homelander. Oh boy, let me just
MVP.
Can you stop? No.
Let me just hang on. Oh, there he is. The light is horrendous here, but there we go.
It just makes me upset. It just makes me upset right now. And the thing is, if it weren't for COVID, I would have met him by now. But
Yeah, but fuck suits and fuck COVID.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting fact. Me and Dan would have said this on our season 1 spoiler cast, but the reason why we actually watched The Boys, like the whole reason we were interested in the show, was because Anthony Starr was in it.
Yes.
We love him from Banshee, which was the show he sort of did before The Boys, and that's where that picture's from. So Homelander in this season, just how on earth they topped Homeland in season 1 is beyond me. This character is just so incredibly well written and just so incredibly darkly comedic. It's just on another level. And Anthony Starr is such a brilliant actor. He's so good at this role. Just the way he's able to make this character so despicable and so evil, but also just so likable at the same time. You love to hate him, and it's just his facial expressions just get me. He's got such subtle face acting. It's hilarious. Yeah. I just think Homelander was brilliant this season, having him paired with Ayakash as Stormfront, who we'll talk about as well. His whole storyline in the season of him sort of losing popularity and just worrying about this loss of connection to people and worrying, because that's all Homelander wants. He just wants to be loved. He wants attention, and he's losing that. And he's kind of just going crazy in this season. He's going more and more insane as it goes on. Which results in sort of one of the final shots of the season, which just further proves that he's just gone. And I've seen Eric Kripke talking about how Homelander is basically going to become a homicidal maniac come season 3.
He already is.
He basically already is. So, what did you think of Homelander this season?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like you say, I've been singing Anthony Starr's praises for about, what we're talking of now, 7 years, which is crazy. So it's taken him a while to get the recognition he deserves, but he killed it this season. Absolutely brilliant. If I'm going to say this right now, if he doesn't get nominated for an Emmy, fuck the Oscars. As a good man Joseph Fares would say. But honestly, he was brilliant this season, and like you said, the story they had with him this season of him, like you say, kind of flipping the roles where, usually Homelander was just so used to being on top. But then when Stormfront comes in, he has this challenge, this opposition. And it's how does he respond to that? And then, just the whole way that his story played out. And then you throw that in as well with him and Ryan. And I actually like that because it actually brought quite a bit of weirdly enough, a sense of humanity from Homelander, because there's the scene in the finale where he's trying to get through to Ryan. And it's you watch that scene and you think to yourself, this guy's a complete maniac, but everything he says in that speech is true. When he was brought up, he didn't have anybody really to help him through that. He was just left on his own. But whereas with Ryan, he's actually got a chance to help bring up someone and give them the childhood he never had, which was just really cool. Of course, he completely fucks that up because, I mean, the dude's insane. But yeah, just this whole story throughout the whole season was just fantastic. And yeah, and Anthony Starr's facial expressions in themselves give me nightmares. Like that scene where he's just giving that blank speech and his eyes are just completely dead.
Yes.
I was like,
brilliant.
Pure chills. But my good God, he's so funny at the same time as well. I was like, only Anthony Starr could pull that off. Like that fine line. It's incredible.
Yeah, he was like the MVP for me this season.
Yes.
Like he was the best character and like the best actor for this season. He's just so good. What do you guys think of Anthony Starr possibly for Wolverine? And I know there's been a lot of sort of castings and rumors about that.
I think you can pull it off, but
yeah,
I mean, if I was going to pick him for any comic book role, it would have to be Reverse Flash.
Yeah,
I just think that
exactly.
When I look at him as Homelander, just with the hairstyle and the attitude, it just screams of Reverse Flash. So
yeah,
I would love to see
I'd
that
probably
so
prefer him as that. Yeah, I think he could probably do both. To be fair,
yeah.
But he's such a good actor. Like, have you seen him just off the show when he's like? He's such a normal guy. Like he just wears glasses and he looks really kind of sort of nerdy. And then on the show, he just does play this like psychopath. And then obviously you get him on Banshee where he's this skinhead cop who just doesn't take any shit. But then off the show, like if we probably met him at a con, he's probably the nicest guy ever.
Yeah,
it's just so weird. Yeah, but yeah, MVP Anthony Starr, like what I mate. What guy?
Phenomenal. And no one can deliver a scene where he has to play two versions of himself, one of which is in a dress, trying to give himself a blowjob. It's no one else can do that. No one else can do that with Anthony Starr. What was funny is I actually had that scene like briefly spoiled because I watched the first 4 episodes together because I was away for a week. So the week the boys came out, I didn't watch it straight away. And I just saw a picture of Anthony Starr in a dress, and I was like, that was the first thing I'd seen from season 2. And I was like, what is going on? So what is this season? Like I didn't know. I thought it was, I didn't know. Is it a behind the scenes shot? Is it just them messing about? And then I actually got to the episode and I was like, oh. But yeah, he's just incredible. Like, you know, we all adore Anthony Starr, and seeing him get the love and recognition he deserves is lovely. Because he's just so brilliant on the show. So brilliant. I'd love to see him get nominated for an Emmy. I don't know if you would, to be honest. I don't know if you will. I don't know if they'll go for a show like this, but he's so good. Honestly, he's one of the best. He's one of my favorite TV characters right now, and one of the best TV characters I've been in years. He's just so incredible, just on another level. But another character who we did have introduced this season was Aya Cash as Stormfront, a character who came in, gender flip from the comics, and this is essentially, we all know. Yeah, gender flip from the comics, yeah.
Oh shit, I've just ordered the first book now, so I'm kind of interested to read the comics and see what that's like now. I didn't know it was gender flipped. Oh, that's kind of cool. Nice.
And she was brought in kind of weirdly because obviously the Seven, as we know in the show, is obviously kind of like a rip-off of the Justice League, and this was kind of our rip-off of Shazam, to a closest, sort of the closest comparison to another DC character, and she was just, again, awesome. And nothing like I expected. I mean, I know nothing about the comics. So when this character came in, I just didn't know what to expect. I thought, okay, new member of the Seven, cool. But wow, that was not what I expected. So yes, opinions on Stormfront.
Nazi bitch. Just throw it out there. Yeah. I was watching something earlier. She's actually like what? She's still alive, isn't she? In like some sort of facility?
Yeah, she's still alive.
So I wonder if we could see her return like down the line, which would be pretty cool if she did. Because she was like a really badass character, so I wouldn't mind seeing her again. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Homelander's going to be too interested in her now, though. I think all that's. I think with all the revelations and now also her face, he may be. I mean, Ryan is powerful, man. Like Homelander literally lasered her, you know what, and she was pretty fine. You know, she was able to recover from that. Ryan just full on lasered her face, and it's practically gone. So Ryan is powerful. But yeah, Stormfront was just an incredible addition to the show. Like the way she comes in, you don't suspect her too much. She just seems to be this really, internet savvy, social media savvy soup who is able to kind of really get under Homelander's skin in a way, because he's just like, why are you instantly so popular and why is it hurting me? And obviously it kind of goes into this relationship, and then we find out who Stormfront really is. She is many, many years old. She's a Nazi who was experimented on. She was the first soup from Vought. She was married to Frederick Vought, and she became this soup called Liberty, who I think we will see more of in season 3. And she just is basically just a reincarnated Liberty, essentially. Not necessarily reincarnated, but she's kind of like a reincarnated soup in that way. And it was just really interesting and really different. So out of left field, what nobody expected. And she is literally a modern day neo-Nazi who's trying to raise a white supremacist army with soups. It was just so off the wall, so crazy, and so out of left field. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So is Liberty like an actual female character in the comics then?
No idea.
No idea. Like
no,
it's one of the few comic book shows where it's like I've not read the comics, so I'm generally just like bemused by anything that happens. So
yeah.
I mean, there's only one thing I actually know about the comics really, and I thought it was a huge spoiler for the show, and it still could be, so I'm not going to say anything. But I don't think it is.
I know. I think I know which one you're on about
as well.
Yeah, and I don't think it is based on something we saw this season. But that's the only thing I know from the comics is that one thing. So yeah, I literally know nothing about Liberty. Like, I think we are going to see more of her in season 3. I think in season 3 we're going to get a lot of flashbacks, particularly because we are getting the introduction of a new character who we're going to get to at the end. But I think when that character is introduced, I think we're going to see flashbacks with them, and I think Liberty could tie into that. So I think we will see a bit more of Liberty, and that's where Aya Cash will, I think, do the majority of her acting next season. Because I think in the modern day, it's just going to be her kind of in this intensive care unit, just talking random shit. So yeah, I think that's where Aya Cash is really going to do. But I think she was also fantastic in this season. A brilliant foil for Homelander. Like, her and Anthony Starr really were able to like keep up with each other, which is really good. Because again, Anthony Starr is so good. You kind of need someone to rival his level of quality to really have that back and forth. And she did it. She absolutely nailed it. And I thought her character was super cool, even though she was a Nazi. She was cool, and a great addition. And a fantastic death as well. Or not death, but a fantastic kind of, demise. She was incredible.
Well, yeah, the scene where all the 3 girls just like go to town on her.
Yes.
The living crap out of her was so good. Yeah, I was like rooting.
What I love about that scene is that it's not even like flashy. It's not even like they're all using their powers. It's just
they're just taking one turn each.
Yeah. She's not like Stormfront isn't even fighting back. She's just being kicked and pummeled to the ground. There's just no grace or form to it. It's great. So I guess speaking of those sort of characters, we had Maven this season, who also had a fairly interesting story, kind of just under the thumb of Homelander, threatening her, her girlfriend Elena. And we had the really interesting commentary on sort of corporate LGBT marketing, which it was very good, like in the way that they portrayed it. I think that the way that some companies and some studios out there are portraying LGBT representation can often be very forced and cringy, because they feel like they have to include it in that way, and so they try and do it in these really forceful ways rather than these more natural and nuanced ways. And this show sort of had a commentary on that with Maeve's, brave food products and stuff like that. Which was really interesting. But I thought Maeve, who was a really interesting character in the first season, having her sort of being in this really threatened position, and I like by the time you get to the final episode, she's just kind of just doesn't really care anymore. Like, Starlight asks for help, and she's just like, no, I'm not helping you. I've already helped you, go away, basically. I thought she had a really good story in the season as well. And I really liked, the way she did come around in the end, went up to Homelander, showed the video, and she's now got him under her thumb, really, which I thought was really interesting and fun.
Yeah. Definitely see a bit more of her, like, next season. I don't know. I guess, next season she will just sort of still be blackmailing Homelander, I guess.
No,
I'd be interested to see if that video gets like shown.
Yeah, because it does link back into like Homelander's, desire to be loved. She says if people see this, you will never be loved again because you will literally be shown as you just let all these people die. So it was a good move by Maeve, 100%. Another character who really stood out to me this season was Frenchie, who I really liked in the first season, but in this we actually got like a whole backstory episode for him and how he's sort of connects to Lamplighter. And I thought that was a really strong episode for him because it just allowed us to see where he kind of came from, how he got initiated into the boys, at least like sort of the original incarnation of the boys, when they were still kind of working off the books for the government. So it was really, really good. And I really enjoyed his story, especially his connection with Kimiko, which continues to blossom in this. Kimiko also had some really good moments in the season as well with her brother coming into it. I think French and Kimiko, like their dynamic is so cute and adorable.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like Daryl and Carol on The Walking Dead. Not Carol, Daryl and Connie on The Walking Dead.
A little bit, yeah.
Their kind of dynamic. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I just think it's really cute and adorable. So I really enjoyed that story, his flashback episode.
Yeah.
And I think that, when you look at Lamplighter in the season as well, sort of connecting to that, Sean Ashmore playing Lamplighter, which was just
that was really just like complete role reversal. Played Iceman. It's like, we'll just get to play the basic Pyro ripoff. But
and his character was really interesting. Like he was this sort of disgraced member of the Seven who just went on to these really awful things, but also still kind of working for Vought. And the way he ended up just like killing himself in episode 7 was kind of
it's just funny because everybody was just like, he's gonna get this redemption arc. And then literally the next episode gets Huey up to the Vought Tower. Now I'm just gonna set myself on fire. I don't care.
It was quite like that was a shock death because I was like, he's a really cool character. I want to see more of him, but obviously we can't because he's just now a burnt chicken nugget.
with a missing hand.
With a missing hand as well. So that was like really cool. I was like so looking forward to when he got announced to be on this show. And so it's disappointing that obviously they killed him off, but the bits that he was in was like really funny, and he was a great character. Yeah,
I think he definitely had a really interesting story, and sort of seeing I loved his costume, like his original costume. How he
just like over the top costume, like I'm just gonna hold this.
He just looks so insane, and I think that Sean Ashmore played it so well, especially because I like the fact that obviously we find out that we sort of knew this from season 1, but he killed Mallory's grandkids. And, I like the fact that Mallory attempts to kill him and Frenchie eventually comes out to her. She's like, he's already going through enough pain. You'll just end his suffering. Like, just don't. He's already hurting more than you can hurt him. So I enjoyed all that stuff. And then just seeing him sort of not sacrifice himself really, but just, just kill himself in the middle of a mission. I was like, wow, I did not expect that. Again, it's just these twists and turns that the boys always comes out with. It's a shame. I would have liked to have seen more of him. I think he could have had a lot more of an extended role in the show. I think he could have eventually gone on to do other things, but I guess Sean Ashmore's kind of busy, I suppose. And he had a great role while he was there, short but sweet. And then I think a really interesting storyline for me, which this is probably my least favorite part of the season, to be honest, was the whole storyline with the Church of the Collective with the Deep and A-Train. Because this storyline was weird because like it felt like they didn't really know what to do with the Deep anymore, and they kind of just stuck him in this thing to kind of get him back into the 7, which doesn't even work ultimately. The Deep is just like he just can't catch a break. I mean, he shouldn't because of what he did. But he just nothing good happens to him in the season, and it's just like just continues to go down this downward spiral. I have to say though, I do like A-Train in this season. I think that he got a really good story, and the way he was paired up with that. But the Deep and the Church was just like this weird thing for me in the season that every time it cut to it, I was like, oh yeah, this happens. Forgot about that. But what do you think about that story?
Where he's like talking to his gills was so fucking weird. I was like really hoping, because obviously season 1 you get the whole like fingering crap with his gills. I was like, please, if there's anything that season 2 does just don't have any like more gills. I just don't want to see that.
He has a full conversation with his gills.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not gonna look at you, and then just like reveals his like vest and his gills are like talking and stuff. And the fact that they got who was the actor they got to do the voice of the Gills? I can't remember.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he did like the panel, didn't he, for the boys for, was it like a convention or something? I remember he held like the panel for it.
Yeah. No, I can't think of who it is, but
he was just.
It's just so funny, and they're just like singing to each other. Again, Eric Kripke, if you're watching this, I don't want to see the Gills again. All right, they're weird. They're weird.
They are grim. They are grim looking.
So weird.
I mean, I do love how both in season 1 and now in season 2, they just give the Deep like these really weird, like hilariously dark scenes where and the scene with the whale, in this season with the boat go for it, and he's just like crying. It reminded me like the first season with the dolphin just like flying. That's so funny. It just flies into the screen, just gets crushed by a truck. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
The Deep is just like, in such a weird way, like this tragic character. He's just a mess. Like, he's just a hot mess.
Yeah. Basically, sort of, if you've seen like Adult Swim with like how Aquaman, they're all just like, fuck off Aquaman. He's kind of like that character has gone from there, where they're all just like, the Deep is just fucking hated and nothing goes right for him and everything. And it's so good.
That's what I love about it, is that obviously, as I said before, like the Seven is like a rip-off of the Justice League, so much to the point that the Deep is obviously a rip-off of Aquaman, and it's just the butt of all the jokes. It's great. He's just a pointless character, and it's great. But I did like A-Train though in this. I liked his kind of connection and the way he kind of came back around, because A-Train was a dick in season 1.
Yeah, I didn't really like A-Train in sort of near the end of the first season. I was like, okay, he was quite horrible in season 1, but seeing him kind of come around in the season and help out in the end, I think was quite nice, because it allowed him to kind of get a bit more humanity to him and restore him a little bit, which was nice. And I really like that actor who plays him as well. I think he's really fun. Because he got back onto the Seven by the end, unlike the Deep. So that was
Fuck Fresca. that was the Deep's journey throughout this whole season, from going from do you want a Fresca to fuck Fresca. That's character arc of the season.
But I mean, one thing I will say about the church storyline is very early on we had the Deep meet another soup who I really want to see more of. We got Eagle the Archer introduced.
He's quite funny.
I'm so happy there's an Archer soup on this show.
Boys version of like Hawkeye, who I feel like is just going to get a piss taken out of him type thing.
I mean, one thing I do know from the comics, this is another thing I know, is that there's a team, basically the Seven before the Seven. There's a team called Payback, who we should be seeing in this season, in season 3. And Eagle the Archer is actually a part of that team. So I'm wondering if he's going to be sort of drafted into that. Because this links into another character who we'll talk about, who's going to be in season 3. But I hope we see more of him, because I think it'd be really fun, and I think it'll be like the Deep, where, like you say, Dan, it'll be like Hawkeye, where he's just this ridiculous character who just makes no sense. He has no business being a superhero, and he's just going to get completely obliterated. I think it'd be so great. And then another character who I thought we were going to get more of him this season, and I actually thought he was going to get revealed, is Black Noir. Like Black Noir is like, I mean, I thought he has some of the funniest moments in the first season just because of his just blankness. Like, one of the funniest scenes for me in season 1 is when all the Seven are like in the boardroom and Homeland is going around talking about how angry he is at all of them. And then he's just like, and he just goes to Black Noir and he's like, not you, you're great. And Black Noir's just like, like, it's so great. But Black Noir was kind of weird in the season, because he's going around hunting Butcher at the beginning, and then he just kind of ends up getting taken out by a nut bar. An almond joy.
What do you mean? Them almond joys are lethal, mate. I can tell you for a fact.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Black Noir. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like he's working directly for Stan Edgar, which I know obviously all the soups do, but like he seems to be like he's like reporting directly to him, and I'm wondering if there's like a deeper connection there.
Stan Edgar clone.
Is it that though? It's obviously
like that's the only sort of spoiler I know from the comics, is like who the reveal of Black Noir is. I don't know if that's who you guys.
That's what I was talking about.
As well. Yeah. But I have another sort of theory to that as well, whether it could go down the comic route or perhaps it might be. I saw it online. It could be Billy's brother. Could be Black Noir.
Damn,
Yeah.
that would be crazy.
Which would be
That could actually make
pretty
sense as to
crazy.
why he's hunting Butcher.
Yeah, yeah. So that'd be kind of cool.
No, to
That'd
be
be
fair, I thought
interesting.
Black Noir was still pretty cool this season because he had a few good moments. Like you say, he had that episode where he was just hunting Butcher when he went back to his family home. He had that great fight with Starlight in the Vault Tower, where obviously his weakness was exposed.
Yeah, I actually saw a funny tweet about all that, which they actually set that up earlier in the season. Do you remember when Black Noir was like talking to that girl in IT, and she's got an almond joy bar sat on her desk, and he asks her to move it.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Something sort of like that. Oh right.
I saw that on Twitter. I didn't pick up on it, but I saw it on Twitter. I was like, clever.
Nice.
They
I
do
think
actually
it's
set it
great
up.
as well that that is how they can defeat like some of the villains, and it's not just like a massive fight. That is just so the boys type thing where it's like, yeah. Imagine if Homelander was literally just he is invulnerable to bullets or whatever, literally can't die, but just give him a nut bar and he does. It'd be so great. But yeah, I think that's brilliant. That's how they do take him down. Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see where they go with him because again, I'm very excited to see how they actually reveal him and who he is. I think it actually could be something related to Stan Edgar. I think that is going to be something. We need to have more Stan Edgar on the show as well. Can I just say there is not enough Juan Carlo Esposito on this. He's so good.
Yeah, that's him, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's so solid. Like he's just so he's just so reliable and just so consistently good the entire time. I hope he gets more of a role. Because he's just awesome. If Black Noir ties into him, I'm very interested to see where that goes. So I kind of want to move in to talk about stuff that's kind of set up for season 3. But I just wonder, is there anything that from season 2 that you guys want to talk about more?
Other than fanboying over Becca or Chantal.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sad about that.
I don't think you're going to recover from that for a while, to be honest.
Every show, minus the Flash that I've seen Chantal in, she just dies, and I build like this whole thing of just and then no. Yeah, like I don't know if you guys have seen Shooter on Netflix.
I've heard about it. Yeah,
it's such a good show. You should honestly like give that a watch.
Is that like a spin-off of the Mark Wahlberg movie?
Not like a spin-off. It's kind of like well, it's like the TV series version. Yeah, so like the first season is basically the first film.
Right. Okay.
And then there's like 2 other seasons. Yeah, but it's so good, and she's in that, and she's like, she has the same sort of mother sort of character she does in The Boys, and she is just really great. So yeah, I'm sad that she's now gone.
Yeah. Hopefully she comes back to the Flash one day as Hot Pursuit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still rooting for that. Still rooting for that.
The other thing I will say about the season as well is I think the action in this season I think was better than it was in season 1, especially like the finale. Like all the action in the finale was really good. Like they had the fight at the bunker place when they had Stormfront taking on the team. That was really cool. I think they just found a way to. I think kind of like because it was the second season, I think they had a better idea of how to use the show's budget more effectively, especially like during the fight sequences. And I think it was just a lot more memorable to me. And just a lot more of the confrontations were just a lot more memorable. So I think that, like I said, I just put that down more to the second season and having a better idea of stuff. But that was another improvement I did note amongst season compared to season 1.
Yeah, and on that, I just want to say that the best fight scene in the whole show was actually Love Sausage strangling Double M, which was so good. Yeah.
The tension of not knowing whether it was that man's penis or not was the best thing of the whole season.
And then when it just slowly slivers back up his trouser leg, and it was just like,
and MM and Frenchie's faces of just like.
Yeah, it was so good. Like he didn't die, did he? He's just knocked out, isn't he?
I think he's knocked out. Yeah.
More Love Sausage, please.
Do you think he's going to be the big bad of season 3? Can we just say that right now? I think him.
I hope so. Oh, I think he might be a better final season boss.
True.
This is just so big it can just take over an entire city now. I wouldn't put it past
how that bit where Homelander was doing a speech and he obviously goes into his weird little headspace where he lasered everyone. It's just love sausage instead. Just gets just
crushes everyone with this love sausage.
yeah. I just mean there's like I didn't know that guy had like a name, and then I think it was Kripke tweeted or something was just like, "Don't you all love sausage?" And I was like, "It's such a good name for a character. It's so good." Yeah.
I have to say that you brought up that scene where Homelander, like in his head, lasers like that. That was a great scene. Like that looked amazing.
For a second, there was that thing of like
I thought he did it. I actually thought it was real. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
do you reckon we could get something like that in like a future season where I reckon he's just gonna go fully nuts, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna like full on just publicly murder like an entire group of people.
Yeah, he's just gonna crack.
Actually, I just thought of something to talk about this season, which I thought was incredible, was the Justice League ripoff of the movie.
Yeah,
the movie that we said.
The porn films, like 7 like movies.
Well, that as well. But like the actual the Justice League thing was just
the
Dawn of the Seven. Dawn of the Seven.
Just a full-on reference. Joss Whedon was just brilliant. It just shows how like with the times the boys is and how like so clued in the writers are, especially being a part of the superhero genre, being able to just rip apart other cliches and other sort of controversies of the superhero genre is really what the show does best. And like literally like the Justice League stuff is like really like hot news, and it's stuff that's still controversial now. Like there's stuff going on with Ray Fisher. And it's like genuinely kind of like nasty stuff going on right now. And they just rip it off straight away, just without any problem whatsoever. It's kind of crazy.
Just like hats off to Eric Kripke, who like in Supernatural in the early seasons when he was on that, literally as well, would just drop so many like current affairs things, and he is just like really great as like a writer. He's just brilliant, Eric Kripke. I saw a video where he was like, someone said, "Oh, is there something you regret about season 2?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, just full on going at it where Homelander is his doppelganger," and he's like, when doppelganger obviously turns into Homelander, he's just like, "Oh yeah, I just got Homelander to be sucked off by doppelganger, just full on go for it." But I think that would have just been the bit where the boys would be like, like, that's too far. Yeah.
But I mean, that was kind of like the last thing kind of sticks out to me about season 2 was just that commentary on the Justice League stuff. It was just really great. And like that boardroom meeting scene that was really funny as well. You have that guy. I think he's in Black Lightning as well. But it's the bit where he's like pitching the trailer and he goes like all like Hans Zimmer music and stuff like that. It's so good. So that was really it. But I guess we can move on to what sort of setup for season 3, because season 3 has obviously been greenlit and it will be going into production fairly soon. I mean, they got through this show really quickly and got it on air super quickly. So I think season 3 will be the same given COVID and everything. So a character who was kind of like really brought to the forefront in this season was Congressman Victoria Newman. And she is revealed at the end to be a soup. After being appointed the head of Soup Affairs for the government, she is actually a soup herself. And she's the one who's been blowing up all of these heads all the season. I mean, this character I thought was really cool. I thought she was really fun, really interesting. And I kept thinking to myself the entire season, I was like, who is this actress? Like, I recognize her from somewhere.
Yeah.
And she plays Farah in Modern Warfare. And I was like, aha. Because she was awesome in Modern Warfare. Like, Farah was a great character. But she was also great in this. Like, again, quite funny, quite self-referential, and I really enjoyed what she brought to the table. Like, her character being this congresswoman who seems to be someone who's on their side, someone who wants to fight Vought. However, I have a feeling that she's not so anti-Vought as we think.
Yeah.
I believe there are some deeper ties going on there to do with Stan Edgar. But I think, obviously, with her keeping control of everything soup-wise, as far as the government is concerned, I think that she could be an inside woman for Stan Edgar. Government.
Yeah, it was a really good twist as well when we found out that she was the one with the exploding heads, because it was like I saw some people like say it could have been her, but I never suspected her for a second. So like that revelation in the last 5 minutes of the finale was just, again, really cool. Just because the fact she pops the leaders of the church's head off, like that of itself was just pure amazing. And then just after that, just the reveal was cool. And then fucking Huey has to be an idiot and going and working for her. Like, come on, Huey, you had one job.
Yeah, obviously, like what Huey just sort of quit the boys, didn't he? Basically, and now he's gonna be a little politician.
Yeah.
What I wonder though is obviously at the end of the season as well, after Butcher gives Ryan to the CIA and Mallory tries to recruit him to basically work for the government again. Does that mean that Huey is like above Butcher in government? Is that what that means? Like, is he like Butcher's boss now?
Well, no, I think he's just a politician, like pencil pusher, isn't he?
Yeah,
he just goes like peg flyers on walls and stuff.
I guess he is working. Yeah, I guess he's working in office, not necessarily in government. But that was also something that was set up. We do have what Kripke was describing as like the actual boys from the comics, where we have the actual team working off the books for the government to deal with everything soup related, anything that gets out of hand. So I think it's cool that they're actually going to have like this actual like team now who we don't have to worry about, because for the first 2 seasons it's all been, you know, hiding from the government and you know, being on the run and stuff like that. Whereas now they don't have to worry about that. They're all going to be completely cleared. I think that's
can we all just appreciate as well that they actually finally name dropped the group, the boys.
I was about to say Leonardo DiCaprio memes.
Yes.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, in one deck.
Yeah, it took us 16 episodes, but we finally got there.
yeah, it was great.
But that's going to be I think it's going to be fun that we have Huey working with Victoria in the office, and then we're going to have the boys working for the government with Mallory. I think it's going to be really fun. Especially I like Mallory as well. She's cool.
Yeah, I wonder how long Huey will be like away from the sort of group.
Probably not for too long, because I imagine Victoria Newman will probably explode his head pretty soon. But I think the main thing that's kind of coming in season 3, and this is something that wasn't necessarily set up in the season, we've kind of heard about this character in off lines of dialogue and stuff like that, but this is more something that the publications have spoken about, is a brand new character that's going to be introduced who goes by the name of Soldier Boy, and it's going to be played by Jensen Ackles, who is very, very good friends with showrunner Eric Kripke, who used to be the showrunner of Supernatural, which of course stars Ackles. This character is basically described as a really terrible Captain America and was the Homelander before Homelander. So I'm very excited about this character being introduced. I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm not particularly a fan of Jensen Ackles, and I don't mean that in the bad way. I've just literally no. I've just never seen anything. Like, I'm not a fan or not a fan. I've never seen Supernatural. I've never seen anything with Jensen Ackles. So like, I'm not saying I'm excited for Jensen Ackles, but
shame on you. Shame on you, Declan.
Because I think that this character is
shame on you.
Yeah.
Shut up. I think it could be just a really fun introduction. And again, I think this is going to be a big introduction of flashbacks into this season. I think that we're going to see a lot of stuff with Soldier Boy from sort of back in the 40s and the 50s. It seems like that's when he was mainly operating. So I think we're going to see that. And I also think we are going to see that team that I referred to earlier, which is called Payback, which is like the 7 before the 7. I know Eric Kripke has spoken about that. He's talking about Payback coming into the show. So I think we could see that team, and that's where Liberty comes in. And maybe Eagle the Archer too, if I'm lucky. But what do you guys think about Soldier Boy? What are your theories there?
I was so hyped when Jensen Ackles put the video of him like being announced, because I am just a big fan of Jensen Ackles. Obviously disappointed that we won't see him as like Red Hood. I was hoping he could come into the Arrowverse, but if he's going to be on the boys, which is just also an awesome show, then fair enough. I think he will just really suit the show, and especially with having worked with Eric Kripke before, like Kripke loves working with actors that he's already hired before. Like, there's loads of them. There's a few other like Supernatural characters in there, and I'm just so hyped for Jensen Ackles to be in there and as Soldier Boy. And I'm also really hoping we could possibly get Jeffrey Dean Morgan into season 3 as some sort of
Yeah.
character. It's so good. Yeah, I think it's definitely in the works. So fingers crossed.
I think it just all depends on how the Walking Dead season 11 filming goes, and how that all goes about, because that's the final season of that. So
Yeah,
there's a lot for him to do. So I guess it depends. I mean, if we can't get him in season 3, maybe we'll get him in season 4, because by that time we get season 4, the Walking Dead will be wrapped up. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so I mean, I'm very excited about Soldier Boy. I think he could be a really fun character, and I'm excited to see his sort of backstory and what happens with him. Now, as one sort of final point before we wrap this up, there was a bit of news regarding The Boys and its future. Aside from season 3, we are also getting a brand new spin-off series for The Boys, which is all set inside of like a superhero school, which is essentially now them ripping off the X-Men.
The X-Men, yeah.
And I mean, this I think is going to be brilliant. Again, I just love how they rip all this stuff off and just do it so obviously. They obviously just know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So like a superhero school dark comedy in the world of The Boys is going to be just an incredible thing. And I think we could see a lot of characters in this that are going to be like, rip-offs of the sidekicks from, superheroes. That people are going to like aspire to be like Homelander or aspire to be like, Maeve or whatever. I think we're going to see stuff like that.
Definitely probably see like a kid Flash version of like A-Train or something. We're definitely probably going to get something like that.
Yeah. And I imagine that we will see like cameos from The Boys, like these characters will come in and stuff like that, which are like particularly like the soup characters will come in. But I'm very excited about it.
I want to see like a Homelander Captain America style. So you've been put in detention, kind of like him like teaching these kids. I think that'd be brilliant.
But it's like in the finale, we got that scene at the very beginning of like really good. Like it's just instead of like a school shooter message, it was there's a super villain in your school. And just Homelander, just like
if they could just have those playing throughout every episode of the first season, I'd be completely fine.
Yeah.
I just think that this spin-off opens up so many opportunities for them. And I mean, I'm not really a big fan of like shows after getting a little bit of success, like, oh, we're doing a spin-off of this and a spin-off of that. And I feel like, and I still like would be fine if it didn't exist and we just had The Boys as it was. But I do adore The Boys, and I think this is a great idea. So
I think it's really exactly.
I think with the world of The Boys and the world that they've set up, I think them having a spin-off, it's definitely more plausible and believable. And because I mean I love this show so much, I'll happily watch it along anyway because I love it. Yeah, you just want more of this world.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think this does open up a lot of opportunities for them, and I think it just has so much comedy potential and so much action potential. And again, we're talking about how well this show just completely rips off the genres and picks apart the genre. Again, this is like a whole separate part of the genre they can dive into. So I think there's so much potential here. So I'm very excited about it, and who they cast I think will be really fun. I think we're going to see a lot of really good newcomers in this. I think we're going to get a lot of really fun, interesting newcomer actors. Who we're going to see a future of in TV. So I think there's going to be really cool stuff in this. But before we wrap up this live stream, is there anything else you guys want to add about this? Anything you want to say? No.
I think my
Shotgun Dan game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, have you got one?
Hoss is back. Hoss has missed.
Oh dear God.
Did you watch the live stream The Walking Dead one? Did you?
I only tuned in for like the last bit of it, and then I went back off when you started talking about Will Beyond because I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, fair.
I still haven't seen episode 2 of that yet.
Okay, so I've got a little would you rather for that.
For those of you who don't know, this is a game that we used to play when we did On My Podcast. So if you're thinking this is out of the blue, we did used to do this at the end of every episode because of this, man.
Look at that. You can just see the cringe on his face.
I know what's coming. I know exactly what's coming.
So obviously with the name Love Sausage that I've got as my little screen name, I thought it would be appropriate is him. So would you rather be, because obviously we know that there's a few naughty spin-off videos of the 7. Would you rather be the fluffer for Love Sausage or be the person who gets done by Love Sausage?
Hoss.
I'd rather be the person that gets done by Love Sausage because at least it would be a memorable experience to be done by someone with a name as beautiful as Love Sausage. So there you go. There's my answer.
Fair enough. And as we know, Deck is the cuck fluffer. So
as my most recent tweet says, I am indeed the cuck fluffer. So I think that I would have to sit this one out and just enjoy watching Dan have his beautiful time with the Love Sausage. And I would enjoy that. So
you'd enjoy it.
I enjoy watching it. Yeah.
He'd be up on a roof, just that.
Yeah, doing it. Yeah.
Can we say that was the best ending of a TV show I've ever
Yes.
seen? We didn't talk about that. That was the best ending of a just TV show. It was just so good.
I mean, I love the escalation of it because you obviously when the shot first comes in, you know what he's doing, and I love the way it just zooms out and he's just on top of the building.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an artsy shot of like, oh, he's standing right in the middle of the moon.
Like because it's genuinely nice cinematography.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to work out like if he was on a roof or like what he was doing. Like was he with Doppelganger again or something? But no, he's like full on doing like a Batman on like, a roof and just took it to
the porno version of Batman basically.
Yeah, just took it to boys level. Yeah, and I just had this thing in my head where like obviously Batman's on there and you see in other films where like Spider-Man would be on a roof. And it's just a queue of people who are just like, can you hurry up, please? I want to have my 5 minutes of just staring over the city. And just, Homeland is just having his go. But yes, such a good ending. It really doesn't. I want to see more.
I'm worried about in season 3. Like Eric Kripke said this, like, because what I found interesting is I didn't really watch much of it until the final episode, but there was like on Amazon Prime, there was like an Inside
show.
Yeah, I need to still watch that
with Aisha Tyler, and like in that, like Eric Kripke was like, "Oh yeah, I feel bad for my writers now because they have to come up with stuff even more crazier than what we had in this season."
It is going to be quite interesting to see like how like crazy it goes.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that's made me want to get the comics is just to see like how crazy it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that whatever they do, it's definitely going to involve Homeland. They're just getting more insane, and I think Anthony Starr is up for that task. I think he's very much up for it.
Yeah.
But I think that's everything. I think that draws this stream to a close. I guess this just tells us that The Boys Season 2 was once again another phenomenal season for the show and another fantastic success for Amazon Prime.
Rating out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd probably give this a 9, to be honest.
I just give it 10. I personally don't have any problems with it. Like I enjoyed all the stories. I know Deck, you said you weren't too keen on the church, but I honestly didn't mind that storyline. I liked that as a deviation from the main stuff. Like I just loved everything about the season. And like I said, I think for me, like I love season 1, but this is just I just put that a little bit further above just because of how much further it took the characters. Like,
there's so much more character development and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, well, I probably would give it a 9, and then I said at the beginning I didn't know which season I preferred. I would probably actually put season 1 just above it, just because with season 1 I really had no issues. So I guess by that logic, I like season 1 more. But yeah, they're both incredible seasons. They're both absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like I said this after I finished it in my tweet, I said that this is my favorite show at the moment. It just is. Like there's no show I like more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that entertains me more. Like now that Arrow's gone, this is just absolutely my favorite show. And one that I just look forward to. I cannot wait for season 3. I cannot wait to see what they do with it. I just love it. I adore the show. I absolutely adore it.
Yep.
You didn't give it a score, Love Sausage.
Love Sausage will give it a 69 out of 69.
Yeah,
I'd give it a 10 out of 10. To be fair, like it was.
Yeah, boy.
10 Love Sausages out of 10.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, 10 jars of Madeline Stillwell's milk out of
10. I can't wait to go back to conventions and see people like doing cosplays of like these, and I am very tempted to do
I want to see the love sausage cosplays. My good god.
Walking around, you see like this tail just like moving all over the floor.
And then the cosplayer getting fucking sent flying to the floor because people are stepping on his tail.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be like warnings put up saying like, please no love sausages brought to this con.
I just can already imagine like the photo ops people would have where they're meeting like different actors and stuff. It'd be so funny.
It's just like whenever they meet the actor who plays Mother's Milk, and it's just like they all just bring their love sausages with them because that's his future now. Unfortunately, he doesn't know it yet, but that's his future.
Can you sign my love sausage, please?
Hey, go on then, whip it out.
It was so good.
Wow. But yeah, what did you guys think about The Boys Season 2? Make sure you let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. What were your thoughts? How did you feel it compared to the first season? What were your favorite bits, your least favorite bits? All your thoughts on this season, leave them in the comments down below. Also, I'm interested to hear what you thought about the weekly release schedule as well. Did you enjoy it, or would you prefer it to be just released in a binge like it was in Season 1? Whatever your thoughts are, let us know in the comments down below. And I guess that draws this to a close. So as always, I have been Deck.
I have been Hoss, or Homelander's Milk, or whatever the fuck you want to call me.
And I have been your mother's favorite toy, love sausage.
You were just building up to it, weren't you?
Yep.
You were planning that, and you were just building up to it because that's. I mean, they always say you should end these streams with a bang, and it's a pretty big bang with a love sausage. So anyway, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you guys again in our next live stream or whatever it is we may be doing. I don't know. We'll find out soon. Anyway, see you guys soon.